and that's going to cause problems for everybody in North. Even Pachinki is a long drop.
It's going to make it to where there's an even line that you can drop right around here. You can long drop a little bit further out, but it's going to make it very, very violent for these players. They're going to have to try to figure out how to get to their normal drop locations. But in addition to that, we kind of hinted about this beforehand. We've got the top 3 teams. They have that 1,000-point lead. You know, several of these teams were potentially thinking about doing hot drops. That now goes all out the window. We could see a lot of really bloody interactions very quickly as people try to get cars, run people over, just trying to make sure that they eliminate as many people as possible as early in this game as they can.
Well, Alliance are going out early. I wonder if they're going to go Lipovka or whether they're just going to get the cars in and around the area, get up towards Savernia's standard for them. What Welcome to South Georgia going to do? Are they going to go all the way down and try and steal cars away from Primorsk? Well, Grow Up Esports won't be happy with that. Are they going to look towards Gatka? Obviously, you've got Team Blank in and around Gatka. There's so many areas that could be contested here. Remember, this is game 11. We have only 5 games to go before the final 3 will be decided for Berlin. There's a lot of problems already. Faze Clan, though, the ones that everybody's eyes are on, are going to get the earliest drop, the quickest loot, and the fastest rotation. The question is, will it be finally an Eastern Circle? Will it give them that chance, that early breather? And really, maybe a big chance at a chicken dinner, because they need to get something early here, man.
It's really about how does RNGesus favor this game right now, because we've seen a very harsh playing path. If we see a circle that goes up near Georgia Pool, like we were seeing repeatedly yesterday, this is going to be terrible for all of these teams. They're not going to have time to get loot. They're going to be moving into the mid-game with very little resources. We were talking about it a second ago. There's going to be a mad rush for cars all along this map.
Oh, no.
And it's going to go to the far western side. It is at least the southwestern area. So it's going to be a little bit comfortable for the guys that bailed out very last minute, not having to do the hardest of stretches. But this might cause a lot of these guys to reposition around. You can see, welcome to South George. Already managed to get some vehicles. They're trying to pull out and away from the guys from Rogue who are taking a couple of pot shots at him. Meanwhile, there's still so many people up in the air, haven't even had the feet touch the ground yet.
That is, I mean, like you say, like Alliance actually are pretty good because they got the vehicles and they're off to Savernia already. Liquid coming in around the top of Yasnaya, so they're going to be fairly safe. Look at the cluster. Flames obviously trying to get themselves into Rozhok. Redzone trying to get and find a vehicle. It's very clustered in and around the middle, and even in the circle area right now. Do you make adjustments?
Well, here's a big thing to note. We talked about denial of resources a lot in the last couple of days. Alliance dropped. They pushed over next to Lippo, got the vehicles, and pulled out and away. That means that Knights now have less vehicles in the area than they're used to having, and there's going to be a hard shift that they're going to have to go all the way across the map. They're over in the Lippo area. That's a top 3 team right now that's going to have a lot of things taken away from them very early in this game. So, how can they adapt on this? They can potentially walk in, but that's such a bloody path to go. Like you can see right around that road that's going to be going right off of Milta, cut up over towards the school area. That's going to be very hard to migrate across. That's a bloodbath zone right there, especially in a transition phase.
And it's very interesting to see how Elgiganten and Singularity are kind of separating, sharing everything. Welcome to South George. Did look like they found themselves a couple of vehicles, so Larson's off in the distance there, but we do see our first knock, and this is what we're talking about. Singularity very close with Elgiganten. It's Savage that goes down. He's been one of the big players, I would say, for Elgiganten. Remember, Elgiganten, they're in 7th place overall. They have a very good chance at challenging for this, but losing a player early on is going to be a problem.
Well, this is already inside the circle as well. So when we've got Elgiganten fighting against Singularity, having those early casualties is going to make it very hard for Singularity to get control over this zone. Make it a little bit easier for them to kind of spread out, get control. So they're going to be forced to play around that quarry area very, very defensively now.
Well, let's have a look around. Yannick, by the way, this is something we've obviously talking about yesterday. The fact that Rogue were getting bridge camped a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yannick, he's securing the other side of the bridge. So, obviously, with the circle going that way, he's going to stick around. He's looting. There's a little decent loot around the lighthouse area and the crossroads, etc. So, he's keeping that safe for the other 3 guys to get out of Sosnovka. I like that play.
It's an interesting adaptation. He's going to be a little loot denied at this point, but there are those little couple of areas that he can hit up. You can see he does have himself a nice weapon to play around, some meds to work with. Doesn't necessarily have himself a helmet yet. That could be that's risky. Whenever you're running something like the Mini, you go for those peaks and you don't have a helmet, you can get dropped really quick. But he does have the foothold here. So now Singularity can't circle in, Boars can't circle in, as long as he can get back over there and defend it very well. We actually do have our first crate come down. It's going to be right over there next to the Boars.
Welcome to South George, finally arriving in South Georgia Pole. And this is a tricky one for them because of the plane path. They are one of the last to arrive. Redzone also arriving late in North George. It does mean that they can't go for that early rotation, which they would like to do, because you've got to be looking around Gatka. That's sort of south of Gatka, if anything, where Blaze is right now, pretty much for Elgiganten. That's kind of like the central point. Now, Obviously, we know eventually it will swing away from the water, so you've got to be looking at around that Gatka area. Of course, it could be a deep south swing or a northern swing. We don't know. It could even end up in Georgia Pole. There is obviously a lot of areas it could swing. It could even go towards Pachinki, of all things. The Copenhagen Flames, they are on the rotate. Coming out of Rozhok, Fever's going to find himself a home as well as Method. And that's the difference, right? Welcome to South George. Redzone just arrived, just started looting. Method and Flames already rotating.
Already trying to get into a prime position. You can see that Method's Anti-Pyro already making a point, trying to get center of the map. They really like to play along hillsides, so it looks like that's where they're going to be opting into going to. One thing to note about Welcome to South George, these are the circles that we saw them struggle with the most. Whenever they managed to extricate themselves out of South George and move up towards the north, they felt very comfortable in that rotation. When they have to move out around Everest, that seems where we keep seeing them have people get picked off very early inside the game. There is that giant hayfield that's just to the south of South Georgia Pool. Makes it a little hard to navigate through that zone.
Faze on the move as well. I can see they're collecting the vehicles, so they are going for the, I would say, relatively early to rotate. They were very early to drop. That is an amazing crate. That right there is just about everything your hopes and dreams are made of in this 11th game. Look at that. 8 times suppressor, AWM, just about all the level 3s you want. And what's that at the bottom there?
Some painkiller for Spice.
The painkiller,
just
yeah,
make
it's a little painkiller at the bottom.
So that may, whenever you go for the peak and you take a little bit of damage, now you can even regen that, just to make it a little bit better for whoever gets it.
Liquid, they're going for a northern rotate, so that's going to be interesting. They will actually bump heads with Redzone. You can see Gavran's at the crossroads right now. Might be where they're looking to cross over, unless they go even deeper. Andy Pyro, he'd rotated early, got himself a position. They're going for the hillside. This is something that Method prefer. Think of game number 1. They took that early position and obviously took themselves second place in that game alongside with Team Liquid. They took themselves that very early position posting on the hillside. This is a favorite hillside for a lot of teams, though, so they've got to be careful. There's going to be a lot of teams heading their way. Faze Clan may well be one of them. They're going across.
We also see that Faze loves to play the hillsides. Naturally, any of the guys that have phenomenal aim, they want to get in these little divots so that way they can just fire at anything that comes around them. Buildings can be a little bit limiting, specifically when you have to fire out the windows. So if you have a top fragging team, you want terrain pieces. And that's one of the things that Method is so good at. They get these early rotation points, they get to these choke points where a lot of teams are going to be pathing by, and they just net kills off of it.
It's interesting, they're going north of Potato Hill. They're actually looking to swing around, so are they aiming for a northern area? Now, bear in mind, obviously, look at the south. There's obviously a big chunk of water, so while you look at the circle and you think center point is around where Elgiganten on, it's actually probably more north of Gatka way. That's probably more of the safer central point with the circle shifts that will come, but of course, that's later on. So maybe they're thinking, can we reposition? It looks like they're going to swing around a relatively safe route. And that's something. Faze Clan have lost a lot of people in rotations over the last few days.
And that's one of their difficult problems they've been having with that hard transition across the map. Meanwhile, we've got Liquid, another one of the teams that are in the top 3 right now. They went overhead and claimed Everest. They've gone for a position over there that you saw them taking a couple of shots, making sure to scare anybody away. They want this high ground position. It is a good spot. You can collect a lot of information, makes the next rotations very easy, but can be very hazardous. If they peek the wrong direction, so many teams can see you at the top of Everest.
Atlantis coming over the bridge. Edukos and Moonwolf actually went over the bridge. That's interesting. I can see Penta. They've got Chronix, just the one man sat there waiting as well. But the rest of Penta are making their way across. They've got to be careful they don't run into Izako Boars. There's Atlanta. It's not like they're going to get themselves out of there, so they're safe. I think they just pulled the vehicle as the Copenhagen Flames. Oh, it's not going to be one of them days again, is it? Pony Rider goes down early. They are going to get themselves the revive. I think it was just a run down there. He tried to hop out the car as quick as possible, but sadly the Flames, they lose themselves a man early.
And this becomes the risk in these late transitions. When you're one of the last teams to move, you're running into just so many people up and alive. 78 people are alive at the direct time. If you are not careful, you are just going to run into a cluster of teams. As you can see, Penta is now turning around, getting the shots on the plants.
That's a DP with all the bullets just unloaded on that buggy. He got a cup of magic. He got Brexico at the side there. Surely he's going to go down. There's not a lot he can do about this. He's going to turn around and get a knock of his own. Chronix in the end will get him down, but Rolza works out. The Grubsy's just posted up on the hill as well to offer the fire support as he needs it. Rolza will get himself one, but he gets knocked instead. Udime Fire will take him down. Meanwhile, Singularity losing a member as well. That is in the rotations over to Grow Up Esports down the south. And it looks like Penta are going to come out on top of this one. Grubsy trying to offer the fire support he can on that hillside, but I don't think he can really help out Rolza too much here.
He took too much damage on his peak, so he's just going to have to retreat back off this. You can see Crazy Cage Man already pulling off in the distance. He doesn't want to push himself into this location, but Grubsy still has to pull off and get away from that fight and run right into the Boars. This is going to be a hard transition for him to make his way out of.
So I was talking about Faze Clan and Method, obviously Method on that hillside. Faze Clan, they posted up in the compound, and now they've edged west. So they've actually gone into the same hill area that Method are in. So they're on the edge of that one. Izako Boars, we were talking about it. Grubsy, oh no, it's a disaster for Atlantis. And you know, they chose to go East Bridge. They chose to wait safely. Meanwhile, Moonwolf, who started in Milta, went over the other side of the bridge and over towards Sosnovka way. So they're choosing that way. It has been very contested and clustered down on that southern area. Southern coastline between Izako Boars, Penta, Atlantis. They keep crashing into one another.
Well, we had a little bit of a skirmish happening over here with the guys from Singularity and Grow Up, and it looks like Grow Up comes up, gets control over this area. I really like this control point. You've got a lot of buildings that you can play off of, a lot of high ground positions and the low ground positions, and there's this road that kind of makes like a valley in and around it. Almost makes a moat around that side to where you can make it really easy to defend.
Welcome to South Georgia. I believe they've gone for the little Harry Potter that's won them a couple of games before in the past. Copenhagen Flames, they lost Pony Rider earlier on. They managed to get a knock. It wasn't actually him that got it. It was Rustenmar from One who got themselves a chicken dinner yesterday. Rustenmar playing very well in that matchup. Going to try and secure the 15 points. It's going to be Rafi that will get it
and
for his
that's the risk right there. Whenever you run so many people inside of one vehicle, it makes it to where you can just have knocks come out all over the place because you don't have those extra couple of spaces to get some defense going through. There's so much risk for your team whenever you all load up into one vehicle and you hard push the center like that.
If this is a strong northern shift, the line's just coming into South Georgia. If this is a strong northern shift, we're going to see so many teams have to rotate. Everybody's trying to play it safe around the edge area there. You can hear Liquid with their motorbikes inside the house. Don't do this at home, boys. It is obviously highly trained professionals making this work for them. Penta actually in Pachinki as well. Here's the shift. It's going central. It's very much donated in, donuted in is the word I'm after, into the center. And that is just about perfect for every team that position themselves central early. So Method, you can see Faze shifting slightly. Everybody else, the Knights are in a happy position. Blank aren't really going to reposition either. They're trying to get themselves in. It's just everybody on the edge. They need to creep in and contract a little more.
Well, the problem that's going to come into play now is there are so many fields inside of this circle. You can see as we're coming over with Penta, look off from to the left side of the screen. It's just wide open over there, leading all the way over to the chopsticks. Got Faze in this lower area. A lot of these teams are going to have to navigate through these wide open zones with these teams already in high ground or very defended positions.
Yeah, Moonwolf, who were playing on the edge, they're just going to keep on creeping in. They didn't have the greatest tournament so far. They did step it up a little bit better yesterday. Got a couple of top 5 positions overall. I like Alliance, by the way. They've come in so late, and they're going to have that entire western edge to themselves. Obviously, they don't know that, but we know it. The entire western side completely clear. T-Bone making that move. Meanwhile, everybody is trying to move across the middle. Look at One. One are trying to move directly through the center, and just about everybody taking shots on them.
It's a shooting gallery right now. You can see so many squads are just turning around, spinning on them, hitting them here and there. And finally, we do have one that goes down off of it. It's going to be Welcome to South Georgia's Bar getting the shots on that, making sure to finish it off, because that is so important. We've seen a lot of kills get stolen away, so you instantly have to spin, turn around and get that. Now Redzone's taking a couple of pot shots. You can see One, they don't have anywhere to go. They're just losing member after member right now.
Oh, faking trouble as well. He's got Rafi just down below. He's trying to smoke off what he can for Rustamar. Rustamar's going to get finished off. It's Celis that will claim that one. Rafi down low. Can he do anything to get himself out of this quandary that he's found himself in, tucked in low? Celis is going hunting for this. He knows he's down there. A nade could be perfect. As soon as you put that smoke down, you know exactly where they are. A little underhand, roll down the hill. Oh, the volley comes
and the
in just to
Molotov!
finish off as well.
He's
just going to burn.
I love it. Give him the Viking funeral. Make him burn. All right. So with that, I mean, I'm sorry. That's one of my favorite things is whenever you get a kill on somebody, just be like, nah, we're just going to finish you off with the Molotov. It's style
the
points there.
The painful death, yeah. Wizards coming in very loud. Actually, Atlantis did keep One alive, remember. Crazy Cage Man still in there. And we should say One did keep another man alive. They managed to get out of there, but they've obviously lost the grand scheme. Fake, I think, is the only man that survived there. Welcome to South Georgia. A couple of shots on them. Back and forward between Redzone, of course, and Grow Up Esports. And managed to get themselves a knock. Meanwhile, Liquid, massive spread here on Jaka.
And that is dangerous at this point. They have to make sure that they are covering every single angle and protecting their other teammates from long-range positions. If anybody just crashes any of these buildings, they could be forced into a 1v4 situation. And I think that Liquid's trying to do this for safety at the direct time. They're playing for points and playing for positioning, so they're afraid if they all group them in one spot, so many teams might just crash into them and they could go out early. So they are trying to just separate out and survive for as long as humanly possible.
Welcome to... Oh, yes, look at that crate. He's thinking Ghost Stars. It's amazing. How have I just got all of this gear? He goes away looking like...
I didn't even see the ghillie suit in it.
Suit as well, yeah. It's just when you got to scroll down like that, you know you've got a lot of gear. And that's been sat there for a while, right? That one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Wizards actually allowed him to get that one. That was nearby. Rogue kept themselves 4 alive here, just south to the east side of Quarry there. Welcome to South George. As I mentioned, this little building that Welcome to South Georgia, they've won a couple of games from this hillside recently, so not surprised to see them going there. Larson himself is about to get a crate as well, so he's just popping over to see what he can collect. Faze have gone for the 2-2 split. You can see them on the hillside. Oh, it's another AWM. Oh, my word.
Oh, going to Larson of all people, this could get real bloody really quickly. They're in a great position on the map. You can see where they're located at. They have line of sight down on so many teams. Liquid's doing a transition point right now. The only thing about Welcome to South George and the weakness of their position is going to be potentially whenever Grow Up does a hard shift over towards their direction.
You know, Player Unknown's out in the background in the green room with us right now, and you know, I've had conversations with him before about these. He, the sadistic man that he is, wants to put a crate drop in there that's just empty.
Oh, that would be
glorious.
glorious.
You go across, you're like, yes, tier 3 helmet, gonna get my vest, and oh, did someone loot this already?
I'm one of these people that I love those little tricks and the baits like that.
Oh, it's
you know,
dirty.
Could you imagine losing like 3 of your teammates to make it over to this crate? You finally get over there.
And it's empty.
But no, it should be something else. That should have like a cosmetic shirt inside of it. You know, that's something that's almost like worse. You know, it's just
like
disrespect.
just a real slap in the face type thing.
It just like make it a dirty white tank top or something like that, and you're like, oh, Player Unknown.
Oh, the Knights, they're going to rock and roll in just south of Elgiganten. The car flipped over. Texas is like, whoops. Oh, and that's going to be okay. There's a smoke. That's just going to come off. Now, Elgiganten are nearby. They will have heard the car rocking up here. And then just a little shot. Blaze getting a peek around the side there. Voxic's getting a look. Oh, no. Fake's gone down. That is Team 1 going out in 20th place. Voxic always took a big old hit there. He's trying to cover off Texas while he gets the revive in. It is drawing the fire away from Texas, and you can see he's crawling out, but no, Blaze has found him. And Knights will lose a man early on. And I think that little crawl, if it had just stayed where he was, he'd probably been safe. There's a lot of nades going that way.
Just to give you an idea on what happened there, the car kind of tilted on its side and flipped over, and so it was just at that 90-degree angle. They all bailed out, and they ended up being right underneath of where the car flipped back down at, and that's how the down came into play there. Just like a second one way or the other would have turned that differently. Boxic's taking a lot of fire and having to retreat out of that. That's going to force everybody from Knights to be kind of separated. And this is the thing about the kill feed. The moment you see one of these teams get it down, they are going to hard press on these teams that are in the top 3.
Look at the south. You got Singularity, you got Moonwolf, and the Wizards also passing by. They're all trying to avoid one another. Moonwolf looks like they've got themselves in the compound. Wizards did come in very late. And remember, Singularity lost a couple of players early on. Well, they've lost another one now. Town 0 goes down to O'Connell, and they move around and start to storm the building. I think Calvin Klein is the last man standing for his team now as well. Meanwhile, the Flames, well, a bit of Car 98 work going on. They've got Ryan Lockwood out. That is to the south of Chopsticks. That's been playing on. But Calvin Klein, he's all alone now.
And he's inside the safe circle, whereas the rest of the guys from Moonwolf are not. They have to push that building. He's got to have nerves of steel at this point. He has to kill these guys as they approach. He has to get it down here or there. He has to delay them. The circle is coming in right now, so it's all going to be pressure on him to either get out of this position, some miracle of God, or just try to survive. It looks like he's just kind of hiding up right now. He's trying to hope that maybe they think that he's already left.
I think he's on the cupboard, isn't he, covering the door? Looks like he's up on high on the cupboard, but if Washout peeks to the left now, he sees him.
He sees him.
He sees him, surely.
No, he didn't.
I mean, we could see him, but then again, we have the X-ray, which is always a bonus. But Washout, push him with the UMP. How did he not have the angle there? I mean, he did. They're going to push it. It's going to be a double-time push to the side there. On the stairs.
1-2.
1-2. Can he get the third? Almost found the head. Doesn't work out. Calvin Klein goes down. But Singularity go out in 18th place because Atlantis dropped as well to Faze Clan. So they went down in 19th at the same time.
And now it's starting to get a little bit more bloody, as you can see. It's those fields. There is just nowhere to go, so everybody's being forced to play along these hillsides. If we see another hard shift, like maybe over next to where Liquid is at, that's going to make it really hard for these teams, and they're going to have to tangle. They're going to have to walk into this, because I can see that a lot of these vehicles already had their tires popped out. We're starting to see that it's going to be really hard to make these rotations out of these spots.
Yeah, if it shifts over to the west, it can get very tricky. Welcome to South George, have themselves a great spot, but it's gone south, deep south shift, and that puts the Knights, who did lose a man earlier on, in a good spot. Rogue, of course, down south there. They've got Moonwolf nearby. Faze Clan can just come across, but Method have been on this hillside for a long time. Now, Faze Clan are going to have to move from east to west into it. Liquid look like they're going to charge straight down. They're going in towards the southern, northern compound of Elgiganten, so they're going to get themselves safe for now, but Method will be above them. Well, we watch Penta here have to try and take a couple of shots on the boys in the distance from Knights.
And you can see that the guys in the top 3, they move so fast. Right as soon as the circle pops drops. They're in their vehicles and they're in a reposition point.
Oh, wow.
But the western part of the circle is just starting to explode. Everybody's just trying to collapse into this one point that they feel is strong along the hillside, but there are already teams posted up here, and one of them is Knights.
Yeah, Kramer gets himself a good angle on a couple of players moving in. They've got the Wizards to the south. Welcome to South George to the north. Alliance are blasting through, thinking we don't want any part of that hillside. Alliance are coming straight in on top of them as well. They're getting around the side. Royal Beastsports are blasting straight through. They're going to go towards Rogue. Alliance on the hillside there, just charging straight between the two of them. Hyper will manage to get himself one down. VZ gets taken down. The kill in the end stolen away by the Knights. 15 points going to one of the top 3 teams is not something anyone else wants to see.
This is going to be so hard for all these teams that are not yet in the circle. You can see the Gropes trying to make their way in. They have one last member outside. Redzone's on the outside of this. Penta's still trying to make their way in. Rogue's already starting to take a lot of casualties, a lot of damage on this as an outside push is coming around on the backside of them.
The Copenhagen Flames, they've tried to get around the side, but Hamster's been knocked out by Faze Clan as they collect themselves another kill, but they are working their way in, and they're going to be stumbling straight into the backside of Blank, I believe, the way they're going. Meanwhile, Izako Boars have just ripped apart the Flames. They go down in 17th position. They're done and dusted. Kramer finds himself one on Wizards. Meanwhile, Gover gets a peek around the side there, tries to do what he can, but look, you can see he's got Redzone to his right, Knights to the left. He's got nowhere to go behind that tree.
He's just wide out in the open. He's having to play around different points. We've got Moonwolf coming up back behind him now. He's just cowering back behind this. Bring out the pan, trying to use it to make sure nobody shoots him in the face. Going for a long-range grenade, hoping that maybe he can get somebody off of the res. Is it going to roll down the hill properly? And it's going to connect. So now we have to see how this transition is going to come up now as he goes down off of this. This is turning terrible for Rogue. They thought that they had a strong spot, but it just went sideways so fast for them. Only one member up and alive right now, and he's hiding down in the foothills.
And the Knights keep on stealing away kills in amongst that phase. They've crept themselves up in the northeast. They are safe for now. On the backside of Method, you can see shots trading back and forward between them, but it was that southern area. Redzone kept outside at the moment. They need to get in. They're very close to Wizards. Whip Piglet, the last man standing, I believe, for the Wizards there, as the rest of the team are down. But it's the Knights that have them dead to rights. As soon as they try and make a move, they will take bullets from the hillside.
We were talking about beforehand, when you're a strong shooting team, you want these terrain pieces. Look at how many kills that they can pick up off of this. They're forcing teams way off in the distance to have to migrate around different angles.
Wizards go down, 16th place for them. They are eliminated. Now Redzone may well follow them as Voxic tries to pick apart. He's going to try and get inside the vehicle. Mac and Dark just gets behind it, tries to keep himself the cover.
We can see on the map, Penta is just hard crashing inside of here, trying to find somewhere that they can land at, and everybody just gets torn apart by Liquid and Blank there.
And that's 15th place for Penta. They have gone down, like you say, that northern point. The problem with that northern zone, you can see back to Zharki there as well. There's really nothing. I think they're inside a shack, I believe. Other than that, it's just big open fields. So welcome to South George, Liquid, Alliance, Blank. They all have open season to shoot them, and that's not where you want to be with probably about 20 guns trained your direction.
Redzone looks like they finally managed to get a foothold inside the safe zone. They're right on the edge of it, but Knights is not going to let them have it. They're already in a reposition at the direct time. Back to Zharki, like you're talking about, getting shot by Welcome to South George and Liquid. Meanwhile, Blank also in a position that can put in some damage on it. We have some unlikely neighbors of Alliance and Elgiganten kind of posted up next to each other, but Knights still with that strong push coming over towards Redzone, just not giving them a chance to breathe.
The circle sticks to the south, and it means FaZe are going to have to rotate. Method stay on the edge of the circle. Liquid themselves are just outside the northern tip of it. Blank will need to make a move. FaZe are on the move. They're going south. They're going to swing around the edge of Izako Boars. You can see Method in the distance as well, but they're going to try and transverse and see what they can do. Oh, Fuzzface has flipped the vehicle. You can see he's been taken down. Is he going to be able to get out? No, he's been knocked out. Morpheus will take him down as Jimty goes on by. A ball of flames will engulf Fuzzface as the rest of the team will make it to the hill.
And this is big for FaZe. They've lost one member, but they got a hill that they like to play around. Method's doing a hard rotate right now, right in front of Liquid, and right next to Boars. It's just turning really bloody. And look at this, Samty wants these kills, stepping up on this. He knows that there's a team clustered inside of here. All he has to do is fight his way inside of it. He's looking through every single window, trying to hit every shot on it. A hard push coming up, closing the door on it, and he's just walking in.
And of course, Jeeves manages to land the nade as soon as they get in around there. Just a couple of nades, flames, whatever you want to do. Molly's in around the side. Jeeves is going to push in with the UMP. He's got Samty around the side. Chris trying to hold the angle, and as soon as he gets the peek on him, Chris with the nade will get himself one down, but that's going to be Chris going down, then trying to find the last man. They're going to push him with the UMP, and Method will go down to Liquid. That was not on the script. Method wanted to do the same back to them. Meanwhile, Redzone also getting picked apart. Welcome to South George, ripping apart back to Zharki as they try and move. But the big story is Method, who was sitting in 4th place, are eliminated in 14th.
By Liquid, already inside of the top 3. That's going to be huge for them. And we still see Knights is just so strong right now. They're collecting so many kills, already at 7.
And they are looking so strong. 13th place goes down to Redzone, who had some great performances yesterday. By the way, Faze, while they did lose first phase, they've actually gained themselves a decent bit of traction. But the problem is the hill, the side position they're in, is actually very vulnerable to where Moonwolf are. If Moonwolf were to swing around that side of the hill, they will have a clear angle on Yempty.
I think that at this point, FaZe is just trying to play for control over that zone. They know that they have the area back behind them that's a wide open field, so they don't have to worry about anybody coming up directly behind them on any type of fighting position. Moonwolf can have line of sight on him. The last guy from Rogue's trying to make his run off into the distance, bouncing from tree to tree. Fuffin is in a world of hurt right now as Boars just had him directly beat it in. He's getting shot from Knights on the other side of it, has a smidgen of life, and just gets dropped.
And it's Drayden, of course, the Knights. They lost Texas very early on with that car flip, remember, but man, they've picked up 8 kills from this hillside. I mean, gatekeepers and stood strong. Now, welcome to South Georgia, to the north of them right now, having a little peek towards the Knights. They're very much aware of their position, and this is dangerous, of course. So this is the Knights, welcome to South Georgia, and Liquid, all alive, all the top 3. And this is not good for anybody because they've already made the top 10, which is already good placement points, and they are collecting kills. Anybody that wants to chase them down right now needs to start eliminating them. Well, Izako Boars, they're trying. They've knocked Jeems.
That's the thing about the 1,000-point lead that they have. These teams have to drop early. And I got to say, if you're a FaZe fan, you are excited now. Finally, a circle shifts in their favor. Grow up inside the circle as well. But look, Knights already hunting. They're off in that direction. They're going to push that same way. Welcome to South George, doing a long flank around the outside of it, pulling away from Knights' position.
Mexi has a huge job there. You can see he's looking south. He's the south protector, keeping Moonwolf at bay. He gets the knock on Washout, gets the kill on Washout, and that is going to make Moonwolf think twice about pushing that direction. Faze Clan, while they are one of the #1 teams in the world, they're not in that position right now, but the mental block that could come there with knowing if we push this way, we are pushing into Faze Clan. If we push this way, we're pushing into Knights. Which way do you go?
At this point, you just kind of cower, pray that somebody saves you. You have to have somebody that tries to third-party this fight, gives you some type of reprieve, because you're just down in a divot behind trees. You can see that they still have to push up this hill to get to some form of safety. That's just wide out in the open. But Knights finally gets line of sight on the guys from South George. This could be a very bloody fight as the guys from South George have to push the same direction, but Grow Up is right on the outside Knights.
They're being very noisy. We've talked about this before. They're being very noisy and taking these shots, and Grow Up are sitting right on top of them. I think it's... I can't see who it is. There's someone right next to him. Simplest is there, but there's somebody else. Alliance are blasting in. Rios is going to try and get around the side, but he's going straight into Welcome to South George. That is not a route that's going to work out for you. Another kill feeds the beast that is Welcome to South George. They've had a dominant performance over the last 2 days. It really has worked out for them yesterday. Voxic will get taken down now. Welcome to South George from Vard. Grow Up, do strike, and Knights are getting picked apart. They will go down to 1. Drayden, the last man standing, tries to scamper away from this one. Welcome to South George also taking punishment from Grow Up Esports. They only had 2 alive, but they were just lying in wait like a little coiled snake. They pop up and strike. Meanwhile, Liquid, they've moved center circle.
They are right next to FaZe at this point. You can see Boars actually doing a good job. They're keeping Blank held out at this point. They're right on the edge of the circle and gatekeeping it out. Morpheus with a phenomenal grenade coming out there. You can see Blank just can't get anywhere inside of this. It's just down after down that's coming on to Blank, and they don't know where to go.
Well, with Knights down to 1, they are not eliminated yet. Moonwolf are coming right up behind them, but Blank, that big nade, one more nade, then you can see the blue zone is right on the back. They've got to move. The second nade comes in. Ghost Star will take them both down, and Blanca's suddenly reeling. They were in a really good position as well. They were another chasing pack, but they're getting picked apart. Meanwhile, the Elgiganten will also get ripped down. That's going to be Blank, I think, gone. Did they just get eliminated? Yep. They got eliminated in 9th place there. Welcome to South George. Also taking punishment. They lose another Grow Up Esports have taken 2 down in a 2v4 so far. Make that 3 as Miracle is down as well.
You can see it's all onto Gaxi at this point, I believe, who's still up and active, and he gets turned on, and I think that's going to be all she got from Welcome to South George. They have been eliminated. Grow Up holding this position, just 2 people, and they have eliminated so many squads at this point. Now we've got Liquid holding the center, looking back down to Elgiganten. We've got Boars still in a little bit of cover, but they're going to have to make their way out, and bye.
Goodbye. Elgiganten quiet in 7th place as Samty finds them. Well, Liquid lead in the pack right now. Looking good, but Ghost Star gets a pizza in the back. Izako Boars are causing all sorts of problems for everyone right now. Faze Clan, they are outside the circle. The circle moves into Liquid's territory. They are very much center. Faze Clan are moving around the back of Moonwolf.
I gotta say, it is karma right now for the Izako Boars. They have to make this push out of a building, across an open area, and Liquid is just beated in on them. The problem with it is they can't stay focused just on them, as we got the guys from Faze Clan. They're doing a hard push in the south, going right on top of the guys from Moonwolf. They are hungry. They want these kills. They're up to 5 now. They're right next to the last member of Knights, who's kind of cowering off in the distance. Growup's already doing a hard push into this, but Liquid has to keep the Boars out of this.
The Boars are moving. The smoke's gone down. They're going to try and get out of there. There's a nade just gone over that way. But remember, Liquid have already lost 2 members around the side there. But this is still good placement for Knights and Liquid, the top 3 teams. Faze Clan, they need the chicken dinner here to try and keep their hopes and dreams alive. It is totally possible. Izako Boars, though, they are making the rotate around the other side. They're going to bump heads with one another while they're trying to avoid the damage from Liquid. Haxzedi and Mexi moving on this one. Morpheus and Ghost Star will be the first to go over the brow of the hill and see them.
I gotta say, Boars did what they had to do. They managed to get out of the building, but now they put themselves right in between Liquid and Faze. And you can see Faze, they're hunting at this point. They're not playing for position. They want the kills. They know they need to climb the leaderboard. They need 1,000 points. They need a win, and they need to murder everybody else in this lobby right now, and they want it.
This is a great flank from Mexi. They're looking up high. Mexi sees them, looks down low, gets himself a good old spank on Ghost Star. Ghost Star will get taken down. The rest of Faze are going to move in now. Get around the side. Morpheus gets knocked down. Mexi gets himself another hack. He finishes the kill off, gets around the side, and they're down to 2 quickly. Bruskill and Mazalis actually gone well away from this one. Liquid have moved away as well, and you can see Mazalis is taking shots. He's got clean shots on Liquid, but it doesn't land.
He's in a terrible position at the direct time as the rest of his guys are just getting pushed on. You can see Bruskill's gotten knocked down. He's essentially done. He's got to get his health up. Mexi's not going to give him the reprieve for it. He does get the health. Walks straight up into it, though. That was a beautiful turnaround. Now this is starting to get a little bit rough from the guys with Faze. They get a nice spray onto it, give themselves a little bit more breathing room. Samty does get the kill onto that. So now it's everybody from Boars eliminated. Grew up in the top area over there. We still have one guy from Knights that's just sneaking his way inside the circle.
We should mention with Grow Up Esports, they've eliminated 3 members of the Knights, 2 members of the Knights, sorry, and also the entirety of Welcome to South George. They've done really well, those 2 players, Simplus and Flex, that have been lying in wait. Faze Clan once again getting a little peek around the side. Oh, he gets a glimpse of Samty's leg. He knows exactly where he is. He's just waiting. He's got the blue zone on his back as well. Samty's got nowhere to go here. There's been 10 kills. James is coming around to try and help him. He's going to get himself a side flank, and that's realized Simplus is going to have to back away from this one. Drayden has stayed very quiet. He's got himself into the top 4 of the Knights. Remember, they got a lot of kills early on as well, so it's still looking good for them in points. And now he sees one. Flex coming straight towards him. Gets the headshot. No, he misses it. And that's going to be the Knights down in 4th place.
And here come the grenades. You can see that Faze heard that. They're trying to see if they can get anything off of it. Fairly close grenade, all things considered. Guys from Faze needing to show up inside of this. Knights already eliminated at this point, but Liquid already has 10 kills. But man, Faze is on fire right now.
That was sexy from Jempty. You jump, you peek, you lose. That is no doubt about it. Took his head off midair. Now Flex is going to get a little peek, try and get himself an angle, but Jempty is... Oh, he's caught it. He landed that as well. Didn't quite take him down. He goes for the peek around the side. Simplus gets taken down. He won't be the kill for Faze Clan. Jempty's just going to open up with the AK and try and land what he can through the smoke. It's not going to work out for him. Liquid are on the flank. James has come all the way around the backside, gets a little angle on Haxzedi, shows himself a little too deep there, and they realize they've got to deal with it. Samty wants up close. Samty gets in close. He's going to get one. It's brother on brother. Jempty versus Samty. He takes James down. Who is going to come out on top?
But we still have the guys from Grow Up back behind this. They're just waiting for it. So they got to post up right now. Everybody's just trying to take a breath, figure out what's going on, get the information, let your guys that are still up. That's kind of what Haxzedi's doing right now, trying to feed information over to Jempty. They're looking off into the distance. We are essentially in a 1v1v1 at the direct time. Jempty's got the ghillie suit, so he can kind of hunker down, play along this. It's a dangerous res to go at this point, but I think they might have it. They need to move now if they're going to do it, because it takes a while to get that res off.
He's crawled to him. He knows he's safe. He's gone for the res, and this is going to give Faze a 2-man stand. Samty, 10 kills for Liquid, 10 kills for Faze Clan. Grow Up Esports, what have they got? Flakes around the side, 8 kills for them, and most of them on Welcome to South George and the Knights, by the way. They've collected some really big names. in this one. But Faze Clan, this is the points they needed to get things started. Even if they don't take the chicken dinner here, this is the start they needed to kickstart their revived hope. Remember the central circle. Now, Samti is closest to it. Samti was in a similar position yesterday against Larson and lost out in that 1v1. That may be in the back of his mind.
Well, we've often made the joke or the meme about the fact that FaZe just shows up on Sunday, and they are showing up right now. Nice peek coming out around that. That's going to finish them off.
Look at FaZe
now
move.
It's down to 2. The shots give away his position, and like sharks hunting right now, you can see that FaZe is just coming down the hillside.
The brother looks like he might find the angle. It's Jemty going looking for it. Can he find his twin brother down the hillside? Jemty, Samti, Haxetti going involved. The big Swede wants a piece of this one as he tries to get between the two fins.
Sneaky the position. He's just kind of sneaking off to the side of it, trying to play this as quietly as he can. You can see the guys from FaZe, they're localized on where they heard the sound, but a nice slow flank coming around on this. If he knows that they have to be at the top of the hill at this point, so he has to get to that point where he can peek and get to that right spot. And you can see that Haxetti's kind of aware of it.
Look at the shuffle movement. He's making sure he doesn't make noise. He shuffle, 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 shuffle up the hill ever so slowly, working his way around. The star is going to start to collapse in. The circle gets smaller and smaller. Samti's going to have the first angle, I feel, here. He's going to see Jemty's head off the side, but Haxetti, you've got to feel, he's going to have it. Gets an angle on his brother's head. Doesn't work out. Haxetti strikes, and it's the chicken dinner going to Faze Clan in game number 1. The exact start they needed. A big old shout from Haxetti there. And that's what he wanted, that's what the crowd wanted, and that's what we love to see.
Are we seeing the beginnings of FaZe Sunday? Are they going to burst their way up into that top 3 spot? I am excited.
Remember, they had a 26-kill game in the scrim just before we went live. They had a huge game, and it looks like it's carried the momentum. Let's get over to the desk.
A lull in momentum here for FaZe on days number 1 and 2, but they come out in day 3 knowing that they had to perform, and they break in with a win already in our first game of the day. Plenty of kills to boot. Team Liquid, though, as well, currently first place and going to be staying in first place with a result like that and grow up esports.